Welcome back to the Pursuit of Accuracy. I'm Josh. Today we're going to be looking at a 22 caliber air rifle that can. That's right. This is basically based totally off your guys' previous comments. I reviewed quite a few air guns and I get the same comments over and over and over again. Oh, we want to see something with a solid barrel. We want to see something that's not imported. Well, I did my research and this is that rifle. This is a precision air rifle. I did get this in 22 cal. For some specific reasons we'll talk about as we shoot this. But this is the RAW HM1000X. Very, very notable air rifle. And I will say this, you can get this with or without the chassis. This is kind of the tactical style chassis because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with this. I knew I wanted to kind of get some reps in shooting positionally. I knew I wanted to kind of, shoot it off the bench, and who knows what happens down the road. But I say all that to say that you could get this without the chassis and make this a very light setup, because on its own, it is just naturally a super light setup. And it's very simple, which makes it great for a lot of you guys. A lot of people get turned away by overcomplicated air rifles. I tell you this is not overly complicated. When you look at this rifle, everything about it screams simplicity and very, very well done. Like I said, this is made right here in the old US of A. I think these guys are out of Texas. Everything is done in-house. They're super responsive. They care about the quality of their product, and it comes through when you look at this. There's nothing flashy about it, besides maybe the carbon wrap barrel, which is probably a weight saving kind of thing and a rigidity deal, but it's not overly flashy. Everything that's done is done very simple, very efficiently, and very effectively, and that's what a lot of people want. So we're going to shoot this, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more in depth as we do that, and we'll kind of wrap it up at the end, and yeah, we'll see where we go from here. All right, so let's do some shooting. This little 22, the wind is in our favor right now. It's down. I'm not super sure about the zero on this, but we're going to find out together here real quick, and let's just put one on the big one. Okay. Now this is set up right now in like a 2-stage configuration, but there comes the wind. Like most air rifles, highly customizable triggers, and it is really nice right out of the box. I haven't felt the urge to mess with it. We are getting a little bit of left or right. Okay, I read that wrong. I held left and hit left. There we go. All right, wind's up. Let's see if we can get on that quarter. Oh, off left of him. All right. Oh, just barely. You guys probably saw that. All right, now the wind's messing with us. There we go. All right, so that was a mag, and I'll show you guys this up close a little bit later, but the mags are polymer. Of course, everything else is basically not. Yeah, the buttstock is, but this whole chassis segment, everything feels really solid. I've had like no POI shift with this barrel. It's a solid barrel. And again, this is kind of, what you guys asked me to do. Let me see if we can get the wind figured out here. We'll just play with this 1/4 inch. But, this is what you guys, oh, of course the wind's going to pick up. Let's see how far it throws this little 22. Oh, just off left, which isn't bad for the wind. Of course the wind would pick up when we decide to go after the 1/4, which is going to make this interesting. It's probably flopping around my target camera. All right, let's see how far we are off. Oh, way off left. Okay. Wow. Barely nicked her. And of course, as you guys saw in the B-roll, this thing is really easy to fill because you've got your fill gauge on one side and the port on the other. Super easy. You don't have to get into weird places. Everything's right there and accessible. Super easy to top off. And of course, you're going to get a ton of shots out of this, being a 22 cal. And of course, they offer this in other calibers. Get this up 30 cal if you want to, primarily hunt with it. 22, you're going to get a lot of volume for the money shooting out of it. You're not going to use a lot of air, and it's just going to stretch the dollar further. But if I was gonna be, you know, taking game with this or something like that, or trying to do pest control, I probably would have went 30 or 25. 22 for me is, well, it's harder to shoot in the wind. So if you're coming out and practicing, those kind of things, doing reps at your house where you can't shoot a firearm. And again, this is, you know, in response to your guys' comments on some of the other guns and stuff that I've done, is you guys wanted something, you know, precision, well-made, made in America. So I did my research, and I had no past, you know, relationship with Rapid Air Works. You know, I've never done anything with them. I don't have affiliate links for them. They're not paying me to do this. I simply told them quite a while ago that I wanted to review this, and I've been shooting this for a long time, and the weather's been horrible here, so that's why you haven't seen anything out of this kind of like review, because the weather's been terrible. But I've been playing with this because, you know, when my neighbors are having a party over there and I don't want to shoot, you know, the 22, stuff like that, I want to get in reps. You can pull out something like this really easily and get some reps in. Of course, the wind is still going to be a thing, but let's go off the bag here. And this is pretty light. I don't have any weights on it, kind of by design. It's going to make me work harder. I'm going to have to read more wind. I'm going to have to manage more wobble. But you could opt out of this chassis and have a really lightweight hunting rig. All right, so we're hot taking, dubbing this back in. I just went through and basically cleaned the KYL, but realized I was not recording on the downrange camera, so you will have not seen that. You will have seen me get down behind the RAW here and start shooting. And yeah, basically cleaned it all the way to the quarter, then the wind kicked up and started messing with us. You'll see the wind flag, not much movement down there right now. That's probably gonna change, because every single time I pulled this rifle out, this 22 cal pellet rifle, the wind picks up as I get down to the 1/4 inch. And shooting a 22 in the wind is part of the fun, because it's gonna make you work for it. This is a 21 grain pellet projectile, and it takes absolutely no wind to move this thing around. You know, if you're trying to get reps in, and that's what I'm using it for, that makes it a lot of fun. Again, if you want to buck more wind, if you want pest control, if you want to do the same thing, you could do this with 30 cal, but I'm able to get a heck of a lot more shots on a fill with the 22, obviously. You go 25 and 30, you start reducing your shot count. And I have those already, so I kind of wanted to play with a 22. So let's go down here so the wind can kick back up on us as we get closer to the 1/4. And this is not weight sorted, you know, this, I'm not even looking at these. So as pellets go, you know, you're gonna get an oddball. You're gonna get bad pellets. Oh, just barely nicked that. We're gonna go at that one again. It's just off the right. There we go. But you're gonna get those things, but it's okay, because this is a great training platform. If you're somewhere where you can't shoot a firearm, this is really great. Or someone who wants to do quiet pest control. Oh, that was exactly where I aimed, which is off left. There we go. The wind stayed down. There's a dragon. That dragonfly keeps messing around. I think we're going to have to get him. He's messing with us. Let's try again. Same wind hold. Oh, nope. Wind is vastly different. Let me back off my magnification. Oh, yeah. Now I can see the wind flag, too. And, yep. There's a dragonfly. I swear I'm going to get one of these before this review is over. Watch, I'll get, oh, they don't stay still very long. Come on. Oh. I don't think I got him, but it was a valiant effort. Well, I could sit out here and shoot this all day, but I'm gonna give you some close-ups of this. This is not the end of this, you know. The wind's up and down, it's 22. I do wanna try a shorter variant of this. I can tell you that I'm thoroughly impressed with the machining, the quality, the company as an overall whole, and my experience with this. The 22 is a lot of fun for target plinking, but there's some things I want to do around here, and I think they have a need for a bigger caliber. So I'm actually going to contact RAW and see if I can swap this out for a shorter, more compact version in 25 or 30 and bring that out. I think that'll also give us a better idea, as, you know, it's not just one air gun from, you know, one company. We'll have multiple offerings. And again, you know, there's no affiliate link. There's nothing in this for me to show it to you. And I've had this quite a while. They're probably sitting there wondering why they haven't seen the review on this. Is because I've been holding out, you know. I want to set this in my gun room for a month. And does it leak air? I can tell you, no, it doesn't. Show you that fill setup, that fill gauge port right there. Well, actually, this is your gauge. This is the fill port. And I mean, just look at everything on this, and it may be a little beat up from me using it, but this is what comes in the chassis setup. I mean, everything is just super well done. I mean, look at the carbon barrel. Yeah, overall, I'm very happy. And again, I could sit out here and shoot this all day at the same target. It's 22, you know, there's a variable 1 to 7 mile an hour wind where I'm not gonna shoot it at 100 yards. It's a 21 grain pellet. It's really not what this is made for. What this is really good for is for you guys who want to get into it, but you want something made in the USA, something that's going to be really reliable, really simple, and just really effective for going and shooting. If you've got a 50-yard kind of backyard range that you could have where you otherwise couldn't shoot firearms, you want to get some reps in, this is a great option. So I appreciate the guys over at RAW for sending this. Again, they've been waiting quite some time, and there's no money exchange, there's no guarantee on either end. This review could just as easily been me knocking this, but I'm not. Again, I've had this for months and months and months, and I've shot it off and on, and enough to know that I didn't lose my POA. So basically when I set it up and I bring it back out, where it was sighted in last is where it was hitting. I didn't re-zero this when I came out here. I immediately went and started shooting. You can see, you know, the wind was playing with a 1/4 inch, but it's zeroed. And that's really important to a lot of people. Made in USA is really important to a lot of people. I do have to say, got the old Donnie FL on here, so I appreciate him. But yeah, everything else is the RAW. And again, we're gonna see if we can get our hands on a mini, kind of shorter one, bigger caliber, because we've got some really cool stuff going on around the house here, and I want to bring you guys in on it. You'll see a little bit of that very, very soon. Not with a RAW, but that'll be coming. So, well, hopefully, if they agree to it. I have had this forever for a review that I probably should have done like 3 months ago, but I appreciate you guys watching. Catch you on the next one.